If you're planning a trip to Puglia, Monopoli and Polignano, Mare are probably already on your list. But should you stay overnight, pop in for the day, or just snap a few photos and move on? We're making Monopoli our home base to wander its walkable Old Town, port, castles, and food scene, then jumping over to Polignano, Mare for dramatic cliffs, stunning beach coves, and a local coffee spot that sounds suspicious but has a loyal following. So today we're diving into both towns to discover what is truly worth your time.
I get the allure and the draw of this place, but
and whether this slice of Puglia deserves a place on your itinerary. Let's get tipsy, y'all.
Polignano a Mare is just a 5-minute train ride from Monopoli, making it a very easy day trip that you really should not miss. Now, Polignano is known for its sea caves, stunning views of the old town perched high above the Adriatic, and Lama Monachile, the small beach that you have no doubt seen in every Puglia travel video. So we are heading to the train station now to go for a quick day trip to see if it really lives up to the hype.
this is Arco Marchesale, also called Porta Grande, which was once the main entrance to Polignano's historic center. And when we say the main entrance, we mean it was a real defensive gateway. It even had a drawbridge. So getting into this charming old town in Puglia once meant a bit of medieval drama.
You walk through the arch and arrive at Piazza Vittorio Emanuele II, one of the main squares in the old town. This square is also known as the Palazzo dell'Orologio, the Clock Palace, which was once the town hall. You know, something about the seaside towns is there's definitely some museums and things to do, but I think a lot of this is just gonna be the views, the vibes, and probably the seafood. Just know that when you're coming, this isn't really a bucket list kind of place. It's more of a walk around and take it all in. We are here at Il Supermago de Gelo, and it is the spot to taste one of Polignano's most beloved food and drink traditions. This place is closely linked to Mario Campanella, known as Supermago de Gelo, which means Super Wizard of Ice, which is a fantastic title to have. But the real legend here is the Caffè Speciale. It's usually made with espresso, cream, lemon zest, and amaretto. Okay, so we went ahead and got the Speciale, and let's go ahead and take the first sip. Oh my God. It is like a hot dessert. It's like you have melted down a coffee ice cream and added just a little bit of amaretto. This is, wow, this is really good. I was a little worried given the line and like the hype around it, but like I've never had anything else like this before. It's really good.
Okay, again, I'm not a coffee person, so take all this with a grain of salt. It's not bad. It's not nearly as sweet as the Caffè Leccese that we had in Lecce. It's very sweet, yeah. So I do prefer this one a little bit better. It's like super creamy though. Like it's, you can see the froth on it. It's not bad. This is Ponte Borbonico, the bridge that offers one of the best views of Lama Monachile. From up here, you see the classic Polignano snapshot, the cove below, cliffs on both sides, the white old town, and that stunning blue water that makes you pause and snap a few photos. The bridge stands about 15 meters high, right above the ravine that leads to the sea. It's called the Bourbon Bridge because it dates back to the Bourbon era in southern Italy. The road and the bridge were part of a bigger network connecting coastal towns, which makes sense since Polignano is in a strategic spot right between Bari to the north and Monopoli further south.
For most travelers, Polignano a Mare instantly conjures up the image of Lama Monachile. The iconic pebble beach is cradled between two towering cliffs, with the old town perched high like it was designed for a painting. What makes this place even more intriguing is that Lama means natural ravine or channel. So it's more than just a beautiful beach. It's where the rocky inlet slices through the town and spills into the Adriatic. Locals also call the beach Calo Porta, a nod to its past life as a humble landing spot for boats. Long before it became one of Puglia's most photographed gems, it was all about function over fame. Now, it's a very compact area and it is packed with people.
I get the allure and the draw of this place because it's absolutely stunning and beautiful, but YouTube and reality kind of does take away from it a little bit, but again, I get why people come here.
And we're not here during peak season. This is technically off season for them. I could never lay on these rocks for sunbathing, and the water is pretty nippy. You might want to keep that in mind if you're coming here in May.
Here's the statue of Domenico Modugno. Even if his name does not ring a bell, you almost certainly know his most famous song. He's the voice behind Nel blu dipinto di blu, or as the world knows it, Volare. He was born right here in Polignano, Mare in 1928. The statue was unveiled back in 2009 and shows him with arms wide open facing the town. It's about 3 meters tall, made of bronze, and stands along the seafront. Polignano gave the world one of Italy's most famous songs, and now Modugno stands here with open arms as if he's serenading the town.
We had some big plans to do some lunch and wine here, but unfortunately, they're both closed. So we're gonna go ahead and head back to Monopoli for the afternoon.
For centuries, the sea has shaped the story of Monopoli, leaving its mark on every chapter of the town's past. Humans have called this land home since the Paleolithic times. Around 500 BC, the original settlers had raised sturdy walls, and centuries later, the Romans put Monopoli on the map by threading the vital Via Traiana right through here on the road to Brindisi. After the fall of the nearby ancient city, its survivors found refuge in Monopoli, a place whose name is Greek for single or unique city.
Monopoli's perch on the Adriatic transformed it into a prized port, especially under Venetian rule after the 1480s. Yet this prime position also made it a very tempting target for pirates and besiegers. So over the centuries, numerous powers wanted a piece of this unique city, and Monopoli passed through the hands of various rulers, with each leaving their mark and giving this town its deep, textured character. Monopoli eventually joined a unified Italy in 1860 and really blossomed in the 20th century. Today, its economy thrives on industry, agriculture, and the steady flow of visitors drawn to its storied coastline. The old port of Monopoli is more often than not the spot that is on countless postcards of this seaside town. These small blue boats, known as gozzi, are traditional wooden fishing vessels seen all over southern Italy. And one of Monopoli's greatest charms is how seamlessly this port blends into the town itself. The old port remains small and intimate and definitely worth a stop.
Castello Carlo V rises at the heart of town, perched beside the water, and stands as Monopoli's must-see fortress. Built in the 1500s under Spanish rule, the castle was part of a grand defensive vision ordered by Charles V of Spain. Monopoli's strategic coastal position demanded strong protection, especially near its bustling old port. And the castle's location is no accident. It stands on a rocky outcrop facing the sea, keeping watch over the port and the city walls. Over the centuries, the castle has worn many hats. It began as a fortress, transformed into a residence, served time as a prison, and now welcomes visitors for cultural events. Even if you don't go inside, the castle's exterior is worth a visit. It gives Monopoli its unmistakable fortified character and a reminder that the sea was both a gift and a danger. Piazza Garibaldi is the town's open-air living room buzzing with life and conversation. Set in the historic center near the old port, Piazza Garibaldi has cafes, restaurants, and a steady flow of people that create this lively buzz that defines the Italian square. This is not a place for a super long history lesson, but a spot to experience the heart of this town. Well, this wasn't on my bingo card today. Well, as you guys can see, I am clearly at an airport. After 11 years of traveling together, I finally made a mistake, a truly big travel mistake. So we have some really fun stuff booked for the next part of our Puglia trip, and those activities required a car. So yesterday morning, as we were leaving Lecce, I realized that I forgot not only my driver's license, but my international permit back in Bologna. Since we took a train down here, I just wasn't thinking about the car. It was an honest mistake. So we spent a few hours trying to figure out if there was a way to keep going without a car. But in the end, we decided we wanted to carry on with the trip as planned, which includes some wineries and other fun activities. So last night, I took a train to Bari, got on an 11:30 flight to Bologna. I got home around 2 a.m., slept for a few hours, and now I'm flying right back to Bari so I can rent the car and drive back to Monopoli. Anyway, just as a friendly reminder, it doesn't matter how much you travel. You can sometimes leave documents and things go awry, and it's one of those things where you just have to pivot or improvise. Was this a costly mistake? Absolutely it was, but you know what? It's all gonna work out in the end, and I'm gonna get back today, and it's gonna be like it didn't happen. But with that being said, it's some of the stuff we had planned yesterday in Monopoli had to get rearranged or canceled. So the silver lining to all of this is we get to keep our travel plans on track, and I got to water my plants. Despite being a little sleep deprived, I'm just happy that we were able to find an easy resolution. I made it back to Monopoli. So we got the car parked. We're gonna go try to salvage a little bit of the day and we're gonna go explore some more. There's a few things we didn't get to see yesterday, so we're gonna go check this off the list, and then I definitely need some wine, definitely. Monopoli's main cathedral is the setting for one of the city's most cherished legends. As the story goes, construction started here in the early 1100s, but the builders hit a very practical problem. They did not have enough wooden beams they needed to finish the roof. Then in 1117, a raft floated into Monopoli's harbor carrying an icon of the Virgin Mary. And even better, the wood from that raft was supposedly used to complete the cathedral roof. So for Monopoli, this was not just a random miracle story. It tied the city's identity together, the church, the port, and the sea. And that is why she is called Madonna della Maria, the patroness of Monopoli, and why this cathedral is one of the most important places in town. Rebuilt in the 1700s atop its medieval roots, the present cathedral has a lot of that same Baroque splendor that's common in Puglia. Even if churches are not your main interest, this cathedral deserves a visit for its central role in Monopoli's story.
This is perhaps the most unusual church in central Monopoli. Officially called Chiesa di Santa Maria del Suffragio, but known to most as Purgatorio, this church is famous for its skulls, skeletons, and symbols of death, a very startling contrast in such a charming seaside town. Built between the late 1600s and early 1700s, the church is dedicated to prayers for souls in purgatory. Its very design, including the wooden door with dramatic carvings related to the triumph of death, was meant to remind everyone of judgment, the need to remember the dead, and that regardless of status, mortality is universal. While we can't go in today because it is closed, it is famous for mummies, and some say they are linked to a chamber once used to prepare bodies for burial. Today, several mummified remains are still on display in the chapel, making for a very unique visit. The stroll along Lungomare Santa Maria is among the finest in all of Monopoli, tracing the very edge where the old city meets the water. This is the perfect spot to just wander and appreciate the crashing waves, ancient stone walls, hidden coves, and the blend of wild coast with whitewashed buildings.
Aperitivo time. Very excited. This place is called The Barrel. It's not in the center, in the old historic center. It's just outside. Chris actually got one of the famous wines from here called Primitivo.
It's super jammy, and I think a perfect aperitivo wine.
And my rosé is absolutely perfect. I told them I didn't really want it really sweet, and they delivered. And our spread is awesome. So despite my random side quest to Bologna for this trip, I want to make sure you guys do get some restaurant recommendations for this trip, so I will go ahead and leave them here in the event you come to Monopoli. So after visiting both Monopoli and Polignano and Mare, which one did we like better? Honestly, Monopoli.
Polignano is absolutely beautiful, and the cliff views are dramatic and picture perfect. But for us, Monopoli felt a little bit easier to enjoy.
It had the old port, the castle, the seawalls, the historic center that it felt beautiful without really being overwhelming. So if you have time, definitely see both.
But if you are choosing where to stay for a few nights or just one night, Monopoli would definitely be our pick.
After a chaotic but beautiful couple of days on the coast, it is time to use the rental car I got and drive inland.
We are going to Martina Franca, one of the main towns in the Valle d'Itria, where the seaside views turn into rolling countryside, hilltop towns, and one of the prettiest areas in the region.
Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss that video. Thanks for watching. Cheers, y'all. Calm down. You are the next contestant on The Price is Right. Nom, 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 nom.